Congratulations on the purchase of your Forbes 11 triple bunk. I'm sure you're absolutely loving it. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up and pack up the kitchen and run you through the electricals on the Caravan. The first step to setting up the kitchen is opening the cabinet. When you open the cabinet, you'll notice there are two locking mechanisms that hold the kitchen in place. One, the primary one, is this pad bolt here on the left. The other one is the blue locking mechanism on the slide itself. To open the kitchen, grab the pad bolt, raise it up, turn it 90 degrees so the blue cap is facing out. Now the pad bolt will sit on the little ledge in behind it. To pull the kitchen out, always grab it by this top handle, which is fixed to the main body of the kitchen. Press down the blue tab and it extends out quite easily. Now to support the kitchen, there is a folding leg assembly underneath it. Now we're going to lower that down. Holding the assembly in place is a sliding pad bolt. It's spring loaded. You pull that back and the legs will simply drop down. Each of these is adjustable on a wing nut. So lower it down, and when you do, lift the kitchen slightly and then do the wing nut up. That ensures that the weight of the kitchen is sitting firmly on the legs, not on the slide mechanisms. Do both sides. Now we can set up the dish rack and open up the gas cooktop. Once we've done that, we'll head over and connect up the water and gas. Opening up the cooktop is easy. Raise the lid, and inside here you have two wing panels that act as wind deflectors. To set the wing panels up, slide them up on their track and bring them out to the side of the kitchen. You'll find a hole in the top of the kitchen where the little dowel on the base of this slots into. All done. Now we can set up the dish rack. When setting up the dish rack, there are three components you need to be aware of. At both corners at the bottom is an over center latch. They connect to these hooks either side to hold the rack up in place. And in the bottom corner on the right, there's also a little dog leg which fits into a hole to stop these racks from pivoting. Once it's up, we'll take that out, place it in its other position, and that'll hold the rack in place. Set it up. Over center latch is on. That's locked in. Just here is our dog leg. We'll take that out. Turn those down. Then place it in the secondary hole. When connecting up the gas and the water, all the hoses are stored in the back of the kitchen. There are oval-shaped holes there for accessing and putting them away. Connecting up the water is via quick disconnect fitting. Just in the back here are the two water fittings. You'll be able to tell which hose goes where because the hose entering each fitting is exposed, so you'll see the colour, just match the colours up. In this case, blue at the bottom. Simply push the collar back, pop the fitting in, and then pull the collar forward. It's now connected. Do the same with the hot water. In it goes. Now we've got the water connected. You can turn on your water pump and start using it. To connect the gas, it's a bayonet fitting, not dissimilar to what you would have in your house for a gas heater. This fits into the female fitting here, which you can see has got a black little dust cover in it. So remove the dust cover and we can connect up our bayonet. Now remember, before you do this, it's a good idea, don't turn your gas bottles on. You don't want pressure behind this connection, which will make it difficult to connect. Still doable, but a lot more difficult. To connect it up, line up the bayonet with the grooves, push it all the way in and then turn it to the right. That will lock it in place. Gas is now ready to use. You can turn your bottles on and use your cooktop. When packing up the kitchen, the first thing we need to do is disconnect the water and gas hoses and pack them away in the back of the kitchen. With the water, disconnect them, grab the collar, push it forward, and the fitting will simply pop out. That's the water disconnected. With the gas, what you need to do first is turn your gas bottles off, then release the pressure through the cooktop to make it easy to disconnect the bayonet. Once you've done that, push it in and turn it to the left. It'll disconnect easily, and then just replace the dust cover. That'll keep dust and dirt out of the fitting. Now I can stow my gas hose and start packing up the kitchen. Packing up the dish rack, what we first need to do is put our tap down out of the way. That's nice and easy done. And release these pivoting racks by pulling the small lever out here on the end, turn the racks up and return the lever to the secondary hole here. That holds that in place. It'll stay put. At each corner here, we have our over center latches that we did up when we set up. Simply release those, lift them up out of the way, and lower the rack down. Now we can pack up our cooktop. When packing up the cooktop, raise the wing panels up, move them both into the back of the lid. Now we can close it. All you need to do now is raise the leg. To do that, undo the screws, and put it back into position underneath the kitchen. Pull the little spring-loaded pad bolt back, release it, and that'll lock it up out of the way. Now to close it, before you close it, make sure your pad bolt is still up out of the way so it doesn't strike the side of the caravan as you put it in. Press down the blue tab and slide the kitchen away. Give it a nudge, make sure it's locked in, that the slide is actually locking the kitchen in place. Then release the pad bolt, put it back into position and close it up. And that's the kitchen stowed. The controls for the electrical system are located just inside the door on the right hand side. Almost everything you need to do with the caravan electrical wise can be operated from here. All the electrical controls are really easy to use. The main one, this red knob here, is your 12 volt isolation switch. By turning that off, you will cut 12 volt power to all the systems through the caravan. However, your solar panels will still charge the batteries and you'll be able to charge the batteries via the Anderson plug from your vehicle. Above that, we have 12 volt cigarette lighter socket style access here. Next to that, we have our stereo. Then below, we have our main panel. The main panel is made up of a row of resettable circuit breakers. So if a single circuit goes down and you're not getting power to it, this is your first port of call. Below that are the rocker switches to switch on and off each individual circuit. The circuits are labelled across the top, so it's easy to find the correct one. Below that are the water tank level gauges. This caravan has 2 tanks, 1 gauge for each. When switched on at the water pump water gauge switch, they'll activate. Beside that is a secondary isolation switch for the water pump. Next to that, we have our awning control switch, which is in on one side and extend on the other. Beside that, we have our volts and amps gauges. The voltage readout will tell you the condition of the battery, the state of charge, and the amp readout below will tell you how many amps the system is using at any time. It won't, however, tell you how many amps are being put back in through charge. Above that, we have our switches for the step light and an isolation switch for the outside speakers on the stereo system. And of course, above that, we have our double pole 240 outlets for when you're connected to mains power. And there you go, folks. That's how you set up, pack up the kitchen and operate the electricals on your Forbes triple bunk. For more information, head to marketdirect.com.au and check out the other videos on our YouTube channel, the setup videos, pack down videos, and of course the handover video.